Hey, I hope you've had a good day. I have had a very long day. It started with the fact that I didn't get much sleep last night. Um, my older son was going on an overnight field trip, and they had to be at the school at 5:30 this morning. So I made sure we all went to bed early last night, and I went to bed at 9:30, which is really early for me. And the problem is, okay, about first of all, I have new neighbors that are right on the other side of this wall. They just moved in. I saw them moving in a couple days ago, and so I went to sleep at 9:30. At about 10:30, these people start screaming at each other. They're having a loud argument, and they're yelling and yelling and yelling. So their bedroom is right on the other side of this wall. So they're yelling at each other very loudly, and it sounds like they're right up next to the door, or right up next to the wall with a bullhorn or something. It was so loud. So I keep a big shoe right by my bed. It's a big, thick, chunky sandal. It has a heel on it about like that, and it's made out of cork. And that's the shoe I use to bang on the ceiling or the floor when my neighbors above me or below me are being ridiculously loud at night. So I used it to bang on the wall. I have never had to do it before. The people who lived over here before were great. They never made a sound, never bothered me. Well, apparently they moved out and these people moved in. So now I have a more complex noise sandwich than I had before. Noisy neighbors up there, noisy neighbors below me, and now I have noisy neighbors right here as well. So every possible surface that I share, where I share a wall or a ceiling or a floor with anyone, I am now completely surrounded by noisy people. So 10:30 last night, they start arguing. So I bang on the wall with my shoe. Then they start banging on the wall on their side, and the two people who were arguing then start yelling at me. So they keep yelling at me, and they yelled at me for like 5 minutes. And then they got back to yelling at each other. So that died down just before I called the police. I was going to call. I hate doing that. I've never done that before I lived here. Never have I ever called the police on anyone for noise. But it is necessary here way more often than it should be. So anyway, I got back to sleep finally, probably around, I don't know, a little after 11, I guess. And then at about 11:30, the people upstairs, Fat Albert lives up there. I'm convinced of that. There is a very large person who lives up there, and they don't move around much, but usually around 11:30, they start walking around right over my head, and it shakes the ceiling to the point that sometimes little white stuff will fall from the ceiling. It has to be a very heavy person to make it just snows when they walk. It's frightening, honestly. So they started walking around, and it sounded like they were dropping dishes on the floor. I don't know what it was, but it was very loud, and it sounded like they were dropping plates on the floor. I don't know what that was. Banged on the ceiling. They're pretty good about it. Usually, if I bang on the ceiling, they will stop whatever they're doing. Usually. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they yell at me and call me bad names. But anyway. So after they woke me up, I could not go back to sleep. For the longest time, I was wide awake. So then I start, you know how when you wake up in the middle of the night and you want to go back to sleep, but there's like a dividing line. And if you don't go to sleep before you reach this point, you're going to be up for a while. And you start thinking about stuff in your life. And I started thinking about the house that I really liked. And I started thinking about, well, what if I get it? What about this? What about that? I'll have to do this. I need to take care of that. So I started thinking about that kind of stuff. And then I couldn't go back to sleep. I was wide awake. So I watched TV for a while. I didn't know what else to do. I laid in the bed for probably close to an hour and couldn't go back to sleep. I don't know why I'm going into so much detail about this, but I said all that because I got a lousy night's sleep, and I had to get up at 4:45 in order to get up, get my son up, get him ready, get him to the school by 5:30. So I've not had much sleep. I'm really tired. And okay, it's making it even harder to deal with these people knowing what I know now. But I'll get to that. So I get to work today, and I've been in my current, have worked in the same place for 17 years. As of this month, it's been 17 years. I've never had this happen before today. I get into work, and the email server is just out. No one has email. No one. Not in our office, not in the Charlotte office. No one has access to their email at all. And that's when I came to realize how much of my job is dependent upon my ability to access my email. So there was a lot of stuff I could not do today. So it was sort of an admin day. I ended up having to spend the day reorganizing a file room and doing some filing, which I hate. I put it off until I just have really nothing else to do, which doesn't happen very often. Well, I had no excuse today. I had to do it because there was really nothing else I could do. I did all the stuff I could do, and that didn't take long. And then the email still was down. They got it restored somewhat before I left work today, but it's not complete, and it's very, very slow. You hit send on an email, and it takes a minute for it to actually go anywhere. It's really sad, and we can't access any of our old emails at this point. All we can access are things that were either sent or received within the last 12 hours. That's it, which is not good for me because I quite often have to go back and access older emails, but right now I can't. Anyway, it was a very frustrating day. The good thing was, right when I was in the middle of filing, at about 11 o'clock this morning, I got a text from my realtor. Now, we made an offer on the house. In the vlog that I showed you, I made an offer on it. I officially made the offer yesterday afternoon. And she told me that, usually within 24 to 48 hours, you receive some sort of response. Well, 11 o'clock this morning, she sent me a text that this person's realtor had contacted her and said that they were going to send a response very soon to my offer. So I was really excited. The only problem was it was 3:30 this afternoon before I heard anything else. So I had 4.5 hours to what if this situation to death. What if they accept it? What if they make a counteroffer? What if they tell me to go jump in a lake? What if? So finally at 3:30, she comes back to me and says, okay, they have a counteroffer. And I reviewed it, and it was fair. It was fair. I felt that my offer was good, but I knew they would come back and want to negotiate, which was fine. And I left a little cushion in my offer for that. I went beyond what I really, really wanted because I knew they would want to bump it back, and that's what they did. So then I reviewed their counteroffer, talked to my realtor, and we came up with a response to the counteroffer, kind of a counteroffer. But even that I thought was a little bit ambitious. I had a feeling they would come back and say, no way, I'm not doing this. But she came back about an hour after we sent the response to the counteroffer and said, he has accepted your offer. So this is really exciting. He has accepted the revised, the counteroffer, which I have to fill out some paperwork for in the morning to make it official because everything has to be in writing. So I am cautiously optimistic right now that this is going to happen. But see, we still have to have the inspections. We have to have the homeowner's inspection, the termite inspection, and several other types of inspections have to be done to this house. And like I said in the video when we went to see the house, I have a price range where I'm looking at houses basically in this range right here. This is the upper limit right here. This house is about right here. It is just a hair below my upper limit. So really, and my offer, with my offer and everything, there's still not a lot of cushion there, and I really don't want to go beyond this point. I'm not comfortable with it. So if the inspections find anything serious, like significant problems that will require a lot of money to fix, and the seller isn't willing to help pay for whatever, I'm going to have to back out of the deal. I'm going to have to do that. I hope that's not the case. I hope that does not happen. So I got my fingers crossed that everything is going to be okay. And I am cautiously optimistic at this point. So I had a lousy night. I have had a rough day, a very long day, but I'm very happy because hopefully in a week, 10 days, I will know more. I should know more than I do now. We should at least have the home inspection done, just the general. I don't know about the termite inspection. Hopefully we'll get that done next week if the guy can get out there. So, which a termite inspection in this area is very important. Termites are a huge problem around here. Oh, that's awful. Termites are awful around here. So that's definitely something you want to do, even if you're not required to do it wherever. If you're in my area, termites are a real issue. I'm going to wait and see what happens. I will let you know what the inspections show, but if the inspections look good, I'm buying a house and we're going to close in May. And I got the closing date I wanted. I wanted to push it out a little bit because my lease in the apartment doesn't run out until June. And I picked May 15th. I said, that'd give me 2 weeks to get out of the apartment. That would be good. That way I'm not rushed. I still have to go to work every day. I don't know if I can get a lot of time off to do this move if this works out. So that would give me a little extra time to move stuff. So that's awesome. So anyway, right now, everything looks good. We have worked out an offer that we can both, or some agreed terms that the seller and I can both live with. So that's really exciting. And I will keep you posted. I will let you know. That's all I know right now. So I'm just going to wait and see what the inspections show, what the results of those inspections are. So I'm going to make some sort of video tonight. Not this, and something other than this. But I just wanted to let you know how things are going. Things are progressing, and it's looking really good. I'm really happy right now. So hopefully, also that's what I was saying. It makes it even harder to live here because I know it's almost like, I can see the end. The end is in sight, and it makes it so much harder to be here at night and deal with noise coming from 3 different directions. I have 3 different apartments of loud people. It's horrible. And it's even worse now that I know that there's an end in sight. It makes it so much more intolerable. So I'm probably going to end up wearing out my chunky sandal over the next couple of weeks, especially if I find out that this is going to happen and I am going to get out of here. It's going to be so hard. I got that portable PA system. I may just get that thing out and start playing with that. I know the lyrics and the music to all kinds of songs that I could sing at odd hours of the night when people are waking me up. And I'll be happy to favor them with a song or two at 2 a.m. when they're dropping bowling balls upstairs. Be happy to do that. So anyway, very exciting. Hopefully soon I will be out of this hellhole and I will be in a real house again because I do not belong in this apartment. I am not a happy apartment dweller. Not at all. And I hate making videos here because the sound always bleeds through and there's nothing I can do about it. If I'm right in the middle of a video and somebody upstairs starts dragging bodies across the floor, which I swear to God, it sounds like they're doing that sometimes, there's nothing I can do about it. Nothing. I can't stop. I have to keep going or just stop the video and start over, which a lot of times I don't have time to do. A lot of the videos I make, I get one take and that's it because usually by the time I get started, it's already late. I wait until my kids are in bed most of the time. So I don't have time to stop and start over. So anyway, I'm happy. I will let you know as soon as I find out anything else. Okay, great.